What is standing between you and your success? Do you have fear around money, negative thinking around money, money blocks? Do you have an unworthiness when it comes to success being seen or being loved? Our money blocks and our love blocks are actually interconnected. It's the same wound, and it can stem from childhood, past relationships, or even further back than that, past life wounds, persecution and witch wound. Being persecuted in a past life has led us to remain small in this life, and those blocks are what's standing between us and our future. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. I knew I had a witch wound, persecution wound. I knew it because it comes up for me over and over again, especially in my twin flame connection. But it never connected it to money blocks, and which doesn't make sense because I've always connected money blocks to heart blocks, which is love blocks, because it all comes from the same place. If our heart is blocked, we can't let love in, we can't let abundance in, we can't let prosperity in, we can't let new things in if we're closed off. But why are we closed off? What is actually blocking us? Why do we grow? Not only we're growing up with poverty consciousness, and that's what I connected to my money blocks. I didn't connect my witch wound to my money blocks. And it was only when my witch wound came up the other day again in connection to my twin flame connection that I actually was like, it's all interconnected. And I was just like, because I got a guidance that I had money blocks as well. And I was just like, it's the same thing. And I was like, is my money blocks connected to my witch wound? So I looked into it, and like, because the reason we fear success, the reason we fear being seen, the reason we fear love, because it's all connected to survival and betrayal. In the past lives, we were shunned, shamed, ridiculed. Witches, this really bugs me. Witches were just women who didn't conform. Witches were independent women who did not play by the patriarchal fucking rules and said, I'm not going to be a slave to a fucking man, and I'm going to live my own life, and I'm going to be a little bit outside the box, and I'm going to have my own thoughts. This is why women were condemned. So like, you're literally... for using your voice, for being an independent businesswoman, effectively, you were shunned and shamed. So and then there's the spiritual side of things. If you did have spiritual, gifts back in the day, do you know what I mean? You were shunned for that as well. And when it comes to love, you were shunned as well, because literally, I have a vision, right, of me being burnt at the stake while pregnant, while my partner stood in the crowd and watched, because he was more afraid of being judged by his peers than about letting his person and child die, effectively. And that's what happens. That energy follows through to this life. We're carrying this, and it's not even just ours. Like, we're carrying generational trauma as well. So it's collective. But for me personally, when it comes to my twin flame connection, those triggers are coming up again. He's ashamed of me. He doesn't want to show me to his family and friends. He wants to keep me a secret. I'm too different. I'm too spiritual. I'm too woo-woo. I'm too authentic, effectively. Because it's like, you can't be real when you have to be like everyone else. And this is it. Like, my twin flame is afraid that his friends and family will judge me. But in effect, he's the one actually judging me. That's connected to that past life persecution when I was burnt at the stake by him, effectively. Right? So there's that part. But then it's connected to, because that's the betrayal, because we've been betrayed in past lives, been betrayed and persecuted by people we thought we could trust. Now, obviously, that's connected to this life as well. But I've healed a few of my wounds from this life, so I know it's going back further. This shit is deep. So obviously, my connection to my twin flame has witch wound energy, or witch wound that we have to heal. But then when it comes to money or success, we're afraid. Like, this is another thing. A fear of being seen, a fear of speaking our truth. For a long time, I could not go on camera and speak my truth. I just couldn't do it. It was just like, I can't do this. Do you know what I mean? I was afraid. I was literally afraid of it. And I used to have dreams about it as well. It's just like, people are going to shun you. And like, for a long time, for most of my life, obviously connected to my childhood as well, I was very shy. I didn't speak my truth. But I realize now I didn't speak my truth because of my past life connections. I was afraid of being shunned. Like, and I am weird. I've always been weird. And this is actually, when this comes back to love again, this happened to me in this life. It's not only happening, I suppose, in my twin flame connection. I know it's different. I'm not being burnt at the stake. But I am being put to the side, because it's like, I can't let you into my world because what will people think? This happened to me as a teenager. I was with a guy and we were really compatible. We got on really well. We were both really hyper. We just got on really well. So when we were together, when we were alone, or when we were texting and talking, everything was fine. But he had a group of friends that were complete fucking assholes. And I mean assholes. And they all used to bully me and call me names and call me a freak and all that stuff. So they, persuaded him to break up with me. But he used to lie to them about me, and he used to, make up things behind my back and stuff like that just to try and fit in with his friends. This is what happens, and this is followed on from past lives. It's literally like you're shunned and shamed for being a little bit different, even though you're actually quite rare and special and unicorny. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God, what will people think? But we're being judged over and over again. And this is why we're afraid to be shown, to share ourselves, to be seen. And, success, money, abundance, showing ourselves to the world, that has deep wounding of mortal danger, effectively. Because it's like, if I speak my truth, people are going to burn me at the stake. I know it's not the same thing, but you get me. And like, for a long time, I couldn't speak my truth. And like, a lot of the time, like, I'm comfortable on camera now, and I'm always authentic. I don't edit my videos. I just say I say everything as it is. And, I found the space where I can speak my truth. But it's still a part of me hides behind the camera. Still a part of me is kind of going, it's safe here. I don't want to go too further out of here, because what if I get attacked? What if I get shunned and shamed? And I suppose living in Ireland is not too bad, because when I started on YouTube, there wasn't the way that the algorithm works, like, there wasn't that many people to take the piss out of me, because Irish people don't really follow my kind of shit anyway. Well, it seems that way. And a lot of it, like, if in America, like, if you were doing the same thing, like the hate mail would effectively come in straight away. And if I didn't have experienced hate comments early on in my career, I would have probably stopped, because that would be my reflection of being burnt to the stake. It's like, oh my God, I can't speak my truth. I can't speak up. And this can be connected then to your money blocks and your fear of success. It's like, especially when it comes to spirituality, or if you're owning your voice through your spiritual awakening, it's like all interconnected. There's so many little things here that are telling me, stay in your fucking box, because you're going to get burnt to the stake, effectively. Hypothetically, whatever. So it's that heart wound. It's all connected to unworthiness anyway. Unworthiness, feeling not good enough, feeling like you're not enough, fearing that if you say anything, you're going to be abandoned or persecuted or ridiculed, shunned, shamed. There's so much, there's a lot of, we hold a lot of shame within us for what was done to us. And I've said this before, a lot of the judgment we fear from others, we're actually carrying ourselves. And a lot of the shame that was given to us by others, we're carrying ourselves. So we're sitting here in self-judgment, fearing that the world will judge us, but we're the ones judging ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So like a lot of my stuff is like connected to self-judgment and self-shame. And when I really dig deep, I'm like, but it's not mine. It's not mine to carry anymore. Like, why should I feel ashamed of who I am? Like, this is the thing. We feel guilt and shame for things that we think we've done wrong, or things that people might not accept. We try and fit into this box in order to be accepted by the world around us. And the world around us is not where we fucking fit. This bugs the shit out of me. Like, authenticity is so important. And this is connected to your persecution wound as well. The authenticity. We were real in past lives, and we were fucking told to go fuck ourselves, really, and just, get out, like. And we were real early on in this life, and we were shunned and shamed again. And now we're real, and we're fucking isolated because everyone fucking ran, or we had to walk away from them, whatever it was. And it's just literally like you're sitting there going, my biggest fear has come to pass. I mean, I'm not being burned to the stake, but I am literally being abandoned by the world and by the people I trust, and being betrayed by people, because I'm trying to be myself. I'm trying to be real. I'm trying not to fit in a box, and like, no matter how, I suppose, like, for me personally, I have to understand a wound to heal it. So, you know, we're going layer by layer, we're going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then we hit the witch wound or the persecution wound, the unworthiness wound, the self-disgust wound. It's all fucking interconnected. It's all coming from the same place. And I can sit there and I can heal it. But it still comes back up. It's like, there's this, like, you know, when you heal something and you feel good about it on the inside, but then sometimes kind of just in the inside, it's like this scratchy feeling kind of going, it's still there, you need to heal a little bit more. And it's just like, oh, you know, and it's like, I understand it, but how do I release it? You know, as I said, I had never connected my witch wound to my money blocks. Like, you know, I even though, you know, when something makes sense, but it doesn't register. And then when you look back and it's like, oh my God, all those dots connected together and it all really makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm going through this week is like, I had a very big, I had a lot of knowledge in connection to my witch wound, but I was connecting it more to my twin flame connection and how that was panning out rather than actually connecting it to other areas of my life. You know, my fear of mortal danger effectively is what I came across. It's like, we think we have this seed, this generational trauma connected to our past lives saying, don't open your mouth, stay quiet, or you're going to die. Do you know what I mean? It's like this whole fucking caveman mentality thing. Don't leave the cave unless you want to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. So like effectively we're carrying around our whole lives this witch wound, this persecution wound saying, be small, don't say anything, don't be different, don't be authentic, don't be fucking real, because, you know, if you're real, you're different. Don't do anything outside of the norm or you're going to die. So this is it. Like, this is where our blocks come from. And this is what keeps us stuck and keeps us from moving forward, is that we're literally unconsciously living our life based on a wound from a past life. We're never going to be burnt at the stake again. But I certainly hope not. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's never going to be that bad. You know, and what is the worst case scenario of using your voice, sharing to the world? You know, like, especially because, you know, especially if you go on social media, like, your first inclination is like, the people I've known my whole life are going to judge me. They're going to think I'm weird. But you have to do it anyway. You have to do it anyway. The whole point we're on this planet is to fucking open our fucking mouths and be our true authentic selves. And like, this is the thing. I no longer dim my crazy. What I mean by that is that when I was younger, I spoke when, you know, I went through so much trauma. I only spoke when I was spoken to. I never announced my crazy to the world. But if I became really good friends with people, they saw my weird and real side. Now I'm just straight out, straight up. I would speak to a stranger on the street and I would find a way to bring in spirituality. And it's not me being a preacher or trying to force, like, you know, it's like not that religious people fucking trying to force things on you. What I mean is, like, we're spiritual beings living a human experience. So we have to heal our wounds in order to be real and authentic, to be able to fix humanity effectively, to change the way things are done, to break generational curses and cycles. This is what we're here for. So now I am going to say all of it in one sentence. And the way I see it is, if I can plant a seed of real in people who are still asleep, then do it. Because what's going to happen if I plant a seed in a person that might judge me? They're either going to judge me or they're not. Or they're either going to judge me but secretly understand what I say and go, maybe I'm awakening too, maybe she's right, but not obviously say anything to anyone else because they're too embarrassed. But this is it. Like, if this happened for me when I started suffering from depression and anxiety when I was younger. Thankfully, I don't anymore. But when I was going through that, I found it so hard, you know, because, like, I suppose back in the day, anxiety and depression was another kind of a woo-woo in a sense, because it's like, don't talk about that. Oh, don't tell people you've got mental health issues. So when I first started to have concerns about my mental health, and I was embarrassed about it, really embarrassed, because I was like, oh, it's there's a stigma around it, you know what I mean? People don't talk about it. A friend of mine who had, you know, issues himself made me feel okay about it. and accepting of it. And in that, because of that, I was able to then speak my truth loudly to people about my anxiety and depression as a way of saying to the person next to me, just in case you're going through it as well, I'm going to speak my truth even if I'm judged. That's the way I am. And that's the way I continued with my teaching, my coaching, and my content, is that I'm going to just say it as I'm going through it for the person who's suffering in silence. And that's, I think, the most important thing we have to overcome in regards to these blocks connected to our witch wound and our persecution wound, is say that shit. Connect the dots here. If you can help somebody who's suffering in silence by just speaking your truth, that should be enough to push you through that barrier that fears judgment. Because the way I see it now, you can judge me all you want. I don't give a fuck if you think I'm crazy. I am not crazy. Like, I remember even back when I still had my sleeping friends, as we call them, the unawakened ones. They literally more or less acted like I was in this kind of cult mentality. It's like, well, if it works for you. And I was just like, you're watching me transform my life. You're watching me go from depression, trauma, abuse, to confidence, happiness, and independence. I'm going from being a drinker and a partier to someone who's healthy and doesn't need alcohol anymore. So yeah, that's a cult, is it? This stuff is actually helping me. My life is transformed, and I'm building myself up and up because what I actually did was inner healing. Like, spirituality isn't some woo-woo thing. It's literally healing your fucking shit, connecting to your wounds, even your past life wounds. So, like, you know, this can work for everyone. I hate saying it like that. This can work for everyone. We're all fucking spiritual beings living a human experience. If we do the deep inner work, we get to live authentically. How is that woo-woo? I don't get it. But anyway, this is connected to me fucking using my voice and being authentic. It's like, literally, it's like, why are people so fucking stupid? Like, when we're asleep, and I am calling myself stupid here, because even when I was asleep, I did not know. I did not connect the dots. I thought life was supposed to be the way it was. Feeling shame around everything in my life. Feeling unworthy around everything in my life. And that isn't just connected to my childhood. It's connected to those witch wounds. Because, like, literally, like, you know, we as I said, we heal layer and layer. And, like, you know, I've healed my inner child. I'm healing. We're constantly. Healing is every day. You have to maintain inner child healing. It has to keep going. So inner child work, do it over and over again. I've done my inner teen work, my shadow work, whatever I have to do, I've done it. I have done this life's, I keep saying doing because we're never fully healed. Doing this life's healing. I have to understand that my wounds from childhood and my past relationships go fucking deeper. They go all the way deeper back to many past lives. And I believe that every life we're reincarnated, we repeat the same cycles, the same wounds, but they actually just get a little bit better. So, for example, as I said, I was burned at the stake while pregnant, while my partner stood there and fucking watched. That was my past life. And every life after that, I might have been burned a little bit less, but still fucking persecuted. And in this life, as a teenager, I was effectively persecuted by an ex-boyfriend. And somewhat I'm being judged by my twin flame as well, because he thinks I'm too woo-woo for his life. This is effectively what's happening. It's just like, I can't... He's judging me because he's afraid other people will judge me. And it plays out. Do you know what I mean? Like, say, for example, I was hit by a car in this life. I was killed by a car in a past life. I almost drowned in this life. I did drown in a past life. Do you get me? So this is what happens. We eventually get so good at life that we up level, or we survive the things that killed us before. So this life is about breaking cycles, healing the wounds, and surviving the things that once killed us. We're not going to be killed this time. It's literally about owning ourselves, owning our voices, owning our truth, and being authentically ourselves. So we have to, I suppose, push through those blocks. This is what I speak about when it comes to introspection. Ask yourself, what is standing between you and union, if it's twin flame connection or any kind of connection? What is standing between you and your career? What's blocking you? Is it money blocks? Why have you got a poverty consciousness? Is it just connected to your upbringing, or could it run deeper back to your witch wound. This is it. And I've healed my poverty consciousness in connection to my upbringing, but I actually didn't realize that my witch wound was connected to it as well. That it connects money blocks, and then, like, you know, you end up attracting the same kind of energy over and over again until you actually, I suppose, evolve out of the wounding that you're carrying with you. So how do we heal this? We feel it. We feel it, and we understand it. Like, you know, I get the visions and I get the flashbacks from past lives when I connect the dots on this life. So, like, for me, like, I didn't even know my witch wound was still playing a part in my twin flame connection until I started to speak to my friend about what's been going on in my connection the last couple of weeks, or the last week or so. And it's just like, as I was talking to her, I was like, witch wound, it's all connected. And I started crying, and I was like, oh, I get it now. This is actually something that it still needs to be worked on. This is still, like, yeah, it's just, because I'll give you the example of what happened. Like, I've known my twin flame for over 2 years, but we haven't connected on social media. And not only that, like, I was like this secret that he didn't share with his family or friends, and it was just like, oh, keep her a secret, I don't need to bring her into my life fully. But, like, it's only last week or the week before, well, last week, that he followed me on Instagram, and I was just like, that to me is a stepping stone out of the witch wound, because it's like literally saying, like, because for 2 years it was like, I can't let people know I'm friends with you on Facebook because that's embarrassing. And it's just like, you know, so that was where this re-triggered for me. It was like, he's actually following me now, so it's like, oh, there's a little bit of hope that he's not going to burn me at the stake, effectively. Do you know, that kind of way? So, like, this came up for me again, and I can actually feel it. And the more it actually, when I remember that conversation with my friend, I can feel that. I can feel that persecution wound come back up now, and literally say to me, you know, he was embarrassed of you for 2 years. He judged you for 2 years, and then just didn't, you know. But anyway, that was connected to that. And it was only when I noticed a pattern in my career as well that I realized, oh, there's some blocks there as well. And I was like, it's connected to the witch wound. And, you know, I think everything connected to opening our heart and letting something in is connected to the witch wound, because that persecution wound, because, sorry, I know I keep calling it the witch wound, but it's a persecution wound. You don't have to have been a witch fucking burnt at the stake in order to be persecuted. Do you know what I mean? Any kind of shunning or shaming or bullying even, or being told to shut up, all this kind of stuff, you know, being silenced, all of this, being, you know, embarrassed, hidden, abused by a partner narcissistically or otherwise. Do you know, you're literally, like, you know, made to feel smaller and smaller and smaller over and over again. So when we connected, like, everything that we have fear of or have blocks in connection to when it comes to money, love, abundance, it's our heart block. It's that barrier that we have up, because it's a fear of being betrayed again. It's a fear of being persecuted, shunned, shamed, ridiculed, made to feel small, belittled. All this kind of stuff is connected to what's blocking us moving forward. So we have to release ourselves from the shame of the past, and understand as well, anyone's behavior is a reflection of them and not you. So, you know, don't dull or dim your shine just because somebody isn't ready for it yet. Don't make yourself smaller and quieten yourself just because you fear judgment. People are going to fucking judge you anyway, especially if you're doing something a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get judged. But the whole objective of sharing yourself, putting yourself out there, opening yourself up to love and prosperity is saying to the world, the healing I can do for somebody else is stronger than my fear of judgment now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would rather help somebody, prevent them from being shunned, shamed, and judged, ridiculed, or whatever, with the, you know, and let myself suffer. If you get me, what I mean is, like, I would happily be judged if it meant that I'm helping somebody. Do you get me? So, like, I'd rather be real, authentic, and of benefit to this world than hide away and sacrifice the healing of another person. Do you know what I mean? I've said this again and again, right? our grandparents, our ancestors, our parents, whatever, they've passed on shit and shit and shit over and over again, trauma and trauma and trauma over and over again. And they passed it down to us. I'm not blaming them by any means. It just fucking happened, right? They didn't have the tools to fucking heal. And every time it fucking got worse nearly. And we're here standing here right now. And we're given a choice. Use your fucking voice. Or allow your future children to do what you're trying to do. Like, oh, it bugs the shit out of me. Like, you know, I don't even have kids yet. And I'm sitting here going, I will do this hard work again and again and again and again and again if it prevents the next fucking person, especially a child, from suffering the way I did. So why are we fucking hiding ourselves when we can literally make a fucking difference in this world? You know what I mean? It upsets me to see so many people, and I used to be one of these people, hide behind a fucking mask to fit into a world that is not accepting, who is judgmental and who are assholes. And like literally, we're allowing ourselves to be in constant pain, knowing, like, and this is it, like, you can stay in that constant pain, or you can heal that shit. You know what I mean? As I keep saying, the thing that pushes me forward every fucking day is knowing that I can prevent at least one person from suffering the way I did. And I will suffer again and again and again, and be persecuted again and again and again, if it means that I can help the next generation. Like, this is it. Like, you know, I kind of just want to shake people and say, you're not just doing it for you. You are literally, if you have suffered so much like we have, or I have, you know, if you've suffered so fucking much, you know how much pain you've gone through. You know how hard it is to fucking pull yourself out of that shit. I know I've been there. But fuck me, if I can prevent another human being, especially a child, suffering the way I did, I will do that shit over and over again. I really will. So, you know, instead of, like, I know it's hard, and I know, especially when we're going through that unworthiness, that persecution, that feeling of shame, and like it's unconscious a lot of the time. But ask yourself this question. Do you want to pass this on again, like all your ancestors did? Or do you want to sit here now and say, I'm going to make this fucking change. I'm going to use my fucking voice. I'm going to be authentic, and I'm going to push through these fucking blocks because I don't care who fucking judges me. You know what I mean? And I think, as I said, we were worried about judgment because we're judging ourselves. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself based on people's fucking actions in the past. Don't judge yourself based on past life fucking wounds and fucking assholes, effectively. You know what I mean? You're a good person. You're a wholehearted, good soul. And all that you're missing is your voice, your authenticity, your truth, your power. You know what I mean? So push through those blocks, heal those wounds, face those wounds. And don't be ashamed of who you are, no matter what anyone does, no matter what anyone says, or no matter how anyone treats you. Because we're here for change. We're here to break that cycle. And I will say it again and again. You're doing it for the future of humanity, for your children, for your future children. So get your shit together. I'm sorry. I'm just so triggered. Like I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. But stop sitting there in victim mentality or in witch wound mentality and saying, you know, I'm shamed and I should just do the work. Sorry, I am a little bit triggered there. But genuinely, it's just like, a part of this is shouting at me. It's like, don't let the wounds of your past, don't let the actions of fucking dickheads control how I move forward or what I let in. Stop sitting here and saying to myself I'm not good enough, or that I don't deserve love, or I don't deserve abundance. Why am I doing that? Push that shit forward. I am so amazing. I know I am. And so are you. And you can get out of this rut, and you can get out of this block by moving forward with your wounds. And as I said, the one thing, like, you know, the one thing that pushes me forward is I'm not just doing it for me. You know, and I should just push myself forward. That motivation for me should be enough. And it's not sometimes. But I'm doing it for the next person. So you can do it again for the next person. So, like, you know, when we're in the depths of the wounding, or still holding those wounds, still holding that trauma, use something as your motivator to push forward. And obviously, inner healing and being happy, being authentic, being your true self, that's the reward. But the biggest reward, and if it was the only reward, I'd still do it, is helping that next person or preventing the cycle from repeating. So, like, you know, dig deep into your wounds, dig deep into your childhood, dig deep into your past relationships, but go further back. Ask yourself where this block is coming from, where this fear of success is coming from, this fear of love is coming from. Is it just coming from your, if you've already done the inner work when it comes to your relationships and your past in this life, look a little bit further. It could be your persecution wound, it could be your witch wound. And I suppose the easiest way to heal that is push through fear and use your voice, because that's what I did, and that's why I'm here speaking to you about my truth. It's because I'm pushing through that persecution wound every single day. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. If you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today. Love nothing more than to help in your path. Also, I have another channel called Aligning with Angie, where I share guided meditation every week. The info for that is in the description box. Also, I have a course for sale on healing after narcissistic abuse. That's in the description box as well. And I'm hosting a free feminine empowerment workshop this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time, the 29th of July, for us ladies to get together and help and support each other. If you want information for that, please comment below.